Um, Now, of course, color is just one aspect of graphic design, and graphic design is just one element in an ad. We could find examples, I think, in these ads or any ads of the use of photography, other elements of graphic design besides color, wordplay, claims from the front of the sheet I gave you or on Blackboard, and then emotional appeals, values, needs, and all of those could be described but also analyzed. So that's what I want you to move toward in this essay. Um, in this one, for example, there's a slogan at the top. It's time to look at the world from a unique perspective. That's a wonderful sort of advertising claim where they mean it literally. This camera can be tilted to look at the sky in a strange way. But of course they mean, isn't it time for you, to, not others, to look at the world from a unique perspective. It's a vague claim. It's an open-ended claim that advertisers love to use for people who maybe are bored with their lives. And then at the bottom corner of the ad, down here, you see this, and it's full of wordplay inspired by Canon. You could comment on the use of a period right there. Why do they do that? Well, you could come up with a theory or an analysis. And then their little slogan, Canon Image Anywhere. And you'll notice a few odd things there. This is misspelled, but on purpose. Maybe to suggest hardware or software, or both. And then image is in the I in image is bold. And I wonder if it's a simple way to suggest this has some connection to the latest technology with iPhones and iPhoto and all the rest, and iPods and iPads. A way to just sort of hint at the cutting edge quality of this. Now that's my analysis. Maybe I'm totally wrong, but that's the kind of thing you can do with any ad, is start asking questions and answering them about what's going on. What we've just talked about then is essentially the first and third here. How do you analyze ads? Well, you break them down, you look closely at the parts, and you try to figure out what they might be doing, what things might mean. And then the third one here, what's the significance? Answer the so what question about the things you notice. I want to talk a little bit about the second one here before we save these for the next presentation. So a few ideas on comparing and contrasting ads. One reason to do so, just to be blunt, is to have more to write about. I didn't want to assign you to write about a single ad because I think it's harder to get a full paper out of that. But more importantly, comparing and contrasting ads, setting them side by side, can give your essay a focus and a purpose that it wouldn't otherwise have. And these are essential if you want to write a strong essay and a clear and compelling thesis statement. You need to have a clear focus and a purpose beyond I'm just pointing out some things in some ads. And so let me talk a little bit more about what that might look like. You might, for example, compare how a few ads try to influence viewers beyond what's obvious at first glance. You might contrast 2 or 3 ads that seem similar to show how they work in different ways, in fact. And that might mean 2 or 3 ads for the same product, for cell phones, for SUVs, but in fact they have very different approaches. You might do the opposite and say, I'm going to look at 3 ads for different products that don't seem similar, but show how they in fact do appeal to the same values or the same myths. You might compare and contrast how ads for a certain product appeal to buyers in ways that aren't clear or obvious. You might look at how some ads seem to contain contradictory messages. They appeal to rugged individualism as well as family values or something. You might look at how ads appeal to a particular audience or try to, but maybe fail. Especially with teenagers, I think often ads try and fail. And then you might analyze how some ads make claims explicitly, but other claims implicitly or visually. How maybe the words differ from the visual. Or you might look beyond the ads themselves and look at how some ads work to create a public image for a company that contradicts the reality. All of these are just options, but the basic idea of all of these is dig deeper, look more closely. Now these 2 ads, I'm not sure You could do a comparison and contrast with these because they are so different, and I don't think I don't want to suggest that just because they both use red, you could make a paper out of that. However, I think it is possible to connect ads that do seem very different if you can find enough to say about the ways that they are in fact similar or related. What you need to do with all of this that I've just talked about is now take some time to brainstorm possible topics and choose the ads that you think you'd like to discuss. And as I'll say in the next presentation, those two can go hand in hand. You can start and say, I want to write about these ads. Now I'm going to brainstorm what I could say about them. Or you can perhaps already start with a basic topic and then choose the ads that will allow you to write about that topic most effectively. I say here you can focus, first of all, simply by choosing one of the 3 groups of ads that I posted. And you do need to write about the ads that I've posted for some various reasons. But you'll need to go beyond that simple connection as you develop a thesis. And then, again, you'll probably want to focus in eventually on 2 to 4 ads, 2, 3, or 4. One ad doesn't allow you to compare and contrast, of course. Although I'm open to papers about one ad, I think it's challenging to do so. And more than 4 will make it much harder to give a focused attention to each ad. So you can write it certainly about 2. You can write about 3 or 4. That's what I would suggest. Then think about meaningful connections you might draw between those ads. I'm not going to require you to post the results of this thinking until the end of the next presentation, but I wouldn't say to rush this. I would say take some time with this. Maybe take an hour and take a piece of paper or a blank Word doc or something and really brainstorm and type up some thoughts, because this is what's going to lead to your essay. So the next presentation is about thesis statements and moving toward an argument. It's probably better to do this thinking before you watch that, but otherwise you may move on to that one if you wish. And again, if you have questions, feel free to email me. Thanks.